Hello everyone and welcome back to part 4 of the Voronoi series, Fluid Voronoi series. My name is Amir Ahmed. I'm an Egyptian architect and computational designer. Today we will finish the modeling and the computational design for this series, and hopefully uh, this will be the last series that I'm doing live. Next one I will try to record something and hopefully it will be more interesting and not as long as this. And yeah, because live stream usually have some issues, and I hope it goes, goes away with recording and, editing and all of that. I'm not sure how to do all of that yet. I'm still learning all of these aspects, but let's see how it goes. So, yeah, today we will talk about the where is it? Yeah, let's go right to the Rhino. Today we will simply explain the roof. We have two type of roofs. Today we will explain roof number one, which is the one that I published on Instagram, and we will also uh, explore roof number two, which looks a little bit like the snow flake, the snowflake shaped airport from Mad Architects. If you go to the pictures right here, it looks a little bit like this, not exactly like it, but it has the same kind of the same fluidity that we might want to achieve. So let's jump right into it. Let's get this one right here, and let's start. This is what we have done so far in the last part. If you have any questions or the sound is not clear or anything, let me know in the live chat, and let's start. So before we start, let's select all of these, make them as a group, and I want to the interior of those, just before we start, I want the interior of those not to look like this. Let's select those and isolate, and select this group that we just created and copy and get something from this upper point to the stair. And this group, let's make it a uh, let's make it maybe with the default material. So when you look at it, when you say show, the interior will look, clean, not has this greenery inside. So that's it. Let's ungroup those, and let's select the upper one. So we have two type of roofs. So the first one, let's copy this 500 meters up and another 500 meters up, and delete the upper one right here, or maybe keep it. Let's put it on the layer hidden. Change object layer and put it on the layer hidden. That's it. So now I have those. Let's to be organized, I will create two types of layer sets, or two layer sets. The first one will be one, roof one, and roof one will have inside it the sub D, and also will have inside it the meshes, or the mesh. Okay, and the same thing will happen to this one. But before we move forward, actually let's create the second one. We will have roof 2, or we can simply delete this layer and duplicate this one, duplicate layer. In this case it doesn't have an object correspondent to it. So let's select this one and change object layer and maybe make it white for now because I don't want it like that. Yeah. After that, let's isolate everything. Isolate only this, and let's go to the shaded. I want to create a let's say I want to create a bevel, or not bevel, like a bumpy or curvy surface, curvy sub-D. So I will select, simply double click on all these you know loops and select them, but I will keep the end exactly clean. So the end, I will not move it. I will only move the edges from the inside. So I will select something like this and shift and double click and remove. Double click in here, double click in here. Let's select previous because I accidentally removed, clicked outside. Let's remove this one and select and remove this one. Select all of this. Ignore the one from the outside. Select this one. Okay, we are almost done with the selection. Let's ignore this and let's move this again and again. Ignore this, select that. We forgot this one and we forgot this one. So let's take a look, just a quick look. Make sure the outside are not selected and the inside are all selected, like long loops. So yeah, we forgot this one. And yes, that's exactly what I need. Let's move it up 10 meters. So when you look at it, that's exactly the basic shape that we will start working on. So now this one is, if we can see it, it's in on the it should be on the sub-D layer. Change object layer, and now let's extract its mesh and put the mesh in the mesh layer. Change object layer. Or actually ignore the mesh for a second. So now we have those. That's exactly what I need at the first. After that, I want to duplicate this with its object and yes to all. So now I have this. Let's call it roof 2. Okay, and let's hide roof 1 for a second and let's move this up 500. So now I should have this is roof 1 and this is roof 2. That's exactly what I need. So roof 2 will be hidden for a second and let's work on roof 1. So I want to create these. Where are they? I want to create these, but to create them manually, we will have to do it like this. We will have to select something like this and simply make an inset for it. The inset will be make an inset, and the inset will be like 2 or something, or 0.5, maybe 3, something like this. And after that you should make a slide on this way and another slide on this way, and after that we want this to go up a little bit. So it's kind of exactly what I need, but it will be a nightmare to create it manually. Even if you can do it this way, it's not the efficient way to do it. So to do that, we want to extract the meshes and make them as a sub-D and create a small cell to morph it to it. So first of all, we want to create the lights above to separate all of the outer edges from the inside. So let's select those and go to add, make sure it's proportional, and let's move it up. We have a problem right here, which is the first problem we have, that these are not connected because there's no edge that connect those. So we have to create those edges manually, unfortunately. So let's select this and simply draw an edge like this. It will take a little bit of time, but we have to do it because it serves the final purpose of the design. Okay, and let's select those. All these, all those that has double edges right here, we have to draw this edge to make them look exactly like this, to make them triangulated like this. At the end, they will not be triangulated, but that will happen after we create the insert edge the insert edge loop that we want to create. But for now, it doesn't work as we have seen, so we need to fix that. So to make sure that something like this is fully working, you can simply select all of these and make the edge loop. So if all of them are moving up without any problem, that means that you have done your part perfectly. But if there is something that is not working, that means that you need to fix it. So for now, let's say 0.9. Now these are ready, and these as well, I think, already. So if we set 0.9, that will work just fine, perfect. This one is ready as well. This one is not ready, so when you select it, you can see that it's not working, so we need to fix that. I think this is the most, let's say, repetitive process of today's tutorial. Once you've finished it, the other things are not that annoying, I think. But we have to do it to make it four edges and to make the light on the top. We are almost done, I think. Maybe this is the last one, hopefully. Like the last shape. Is it? Oh, no. Still, we have this one. I think this one is the last one. Okay. And I think now we have this. Yeah, only those three. One, two, and finally three. So now, whoa, we forgot this one. So if we select something like this now and simply try to move it up just like this, it should be working from all sides. So let's say 0.9 and see it's working. That is perfect. That is great. And let's do it all of them again. 0.9 and yeah, I think we have selected all of them, not this one. 0.9 and this one as well. So now we have selected all of them. Now we all we need to do is basically select all of this. They are four, so that is what I need. They are if once we add this edge on the top, they will be four. And let's extract all of these. So yeah, because we forgot this one, now this one is messed up, so we can't do this one. But I think all the other ones are perfect, so let's extract the surface for all of them, and let's fix this one. This one, to be fixed, it needs to, to select all of this and delete it. Let's select those and those and delete. How can we do that? Okay, so now this one is great. Let's do this one because we forgot to do it. One, two, three, and finally, let's select all the edges. Let's select those and 0.9 as well, and simply extract those back. So now we should have all the above. If we go to the front, we could simply select all the upper uh, sub D, okay, and we can change object layer, put them in here and make them as a group, and maybe change their material to something emissive, so when you look at them in the rendered mode you should have something lighting like this, but maybe in a better. Okay, let's in 0.25, just a little bit to see the light that is happening in here. Okay, that is perfect. Let's move this back 0.5 and let's go back to the shaded mode and let's select all of the big ones, and simply let's extract their meshes. And once you extract their meshes, make sure the meshes will be in here so you can change object layer and hide the sub-D for a second, because I don't need the sub-D for this one. Okay, so let's now jump into Grasshopper and see what we can do about the geometry that we want to create. Okay, let's go to fluid Voronoi. Okay, we created those yesterday in the Arabic version, but we will recreate them today again, which basically let's select one of the meshes, set one mesh, and once we set the explode it, make sure to invert this one, and after that let's get the explode again, but this time explode the curves. Before we explode the curves, we need to face boundary. So now the curves are exploded, and after that list item. Uh, this is the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. That is exactly what I need. After that, I want to loft the first one with the flip of the second one, which is this one, and simply loft. So now I basically transformed this mesh into surface, which I'm going to use later to morph my geometry. So that is the first thing I need to do. Also, I want to create, let's go to the hidden layer and just show me what I'm dealing with, and go to this side and let's zoom to those. So I want to create something next to them. Let's simply create the thing that we said we will create, which is the this cell, and after that select this cell and inset. In this case, let's say 2 or maybe 1. Okay, and after selecting this, let's scale it down. Ignore the grid for a second and scale it down, just something very small like this. Let's go back for a second to here. I have 4 points for each mesh, so as long as I am respecting the upper edge and the lower edge, everything will look exactly the same fluidly. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I will respect the upper edge and the lower edge. Zoom, and let's just push this up like this. Maybe make it thinner a little bit, and this is what it looks like. So let's fix the outer points. Let's add a crease so we can see what it looks like. It looks a little bit too smooth, so let's select all the curves in the middle, and let's add a something in the middle, in the proportional, and double click on it, and maybe add both sides something a little bit this way. So when you look at it, it looks, more like this, which is exactly what I need. You can delete the middle part. It doesn't, you don't need to add more meshes for your shape. So that's basically the thing that I want to create. And we can extract before we move forward. Let's create a material, a specific material for it. Let's use a new material, custom, and the material for it, I will take the exact things from here. Let's select everything and hide. So now I have the roof. Let's enable the roof and select this one and show me what's its material. So basically the glossiness is 100%, and after that this color. So let's go to here. Let's go to here, and the material that we created for this one. Let's raise the color, and simply I will select the color from the other file. So now I should have this exactly. Or you can simply pick something that you wish for, or maybe another material like a metal or plastic or something, but for now I just want something that has a specific color to look like a maybe a shiny wooden roof, or maybe a metallic golden cladding or something on the top. So Yeah, after that we want to extract the mesh from it, and let's go to the shaded mode and get me the mesh and move it right here. And this mesh I want to use it to morph it on my shape. So I want to go back to this one, zoom, and I want to create the to create the twisted box out of it. So I created a small cluster because I use surfaces as a tool for twisted boxes a lot. So I created this cluster to help me with that, which basically if you go inside, this is what happens. It gets the surface, explode it, remove the duplicate points, and after that get the points into twisted box. And in this part, it's only like if you need to rearrange the points, like to shift it. Sometimes it gets you need to rotate the main shape 90 degrees, or maybe it's upside down or something. So you need to shift the point. So this is what this part is about. You can get it via Patreon, or you can create it yourself if you are interested. So this is the first surface, and the second surface is simply a move. I move this one in the Z direction, so it's basically I'm moving it 1 meter up, and this is the second surface. And after that, this is the shift, so I will ignore the shift for now. I will keep this right here, and let's see. Now I need to morph to twisted box, which is this one. Let's make sure it's grafted just in case. And now I have this one, which is right here. And let's zoom back to it and simply get a box, set one box, which is from this point to this point and to the upper point right here. Okay, and move the box right here. So let's see what our shape looks like if I get to zoom. This is what I'm talking about. The upper edge and the lower edge is should be a like a single point at the corners only. So now comes the shift part. So once I shift this, it rotates the shape inside the twisted box, and everything will look fine and perfect. That's exactly what I need. So let's bake. Yes. Before we bake, yeah, we forgot to transform it into sub D. So we need to transform this into sub D. We did it in here, like the last part, so I don't want to annoy you with, repeating the whole process again. So let's simply, copy it just to here and select those, and fix its orientation, and select those just right here and transform it into sub D. And the material for this one is basically the same material as the mesh, so that's why I make sure that the mesh or my objects has material. So when you look at it, if you go to enable, you can maybe hide those for a second, and let's go to the rendered mode and let's hide the meshes. So if I go to the mesh and hide, this is what my first geometry looks like. I can edit the roof tile that I created, and it will simply morph into here. So that's exactly what I need. So let's try to add all the meshes at once. I'm not sure that would be a good idea, but let's try it. Why not? Let's set multiple meshes and let's see if it works. Actually, it works. It works just fine. So that is great. But I think the edges, if we go to the mesh and hide it for a second, if we selected those, let's zoom to those, and let's just try to, scale it up a little bit from the Gumball relocate from here to here, and just scale it maybe 1.2 or something. So let's see how it looks like. Yeah, it's more, obvious, and you can see it better. That's it. That's what I wanted to do. So now the first roof is already done. That's great. Let's move forward. Let's go to this and bake it. Make sure to bake it on roof one as a group. And yeah, let's now, that is the roof number one, and it's done, and that is great. Let's show everything. This roof is on the layer hidden. Actually, let's hide it for now. And now this is roof number one. So we can make it as a group as well, and negative 500. So it's exactly right here. And let's disable this one. And this is the group for the roof. That is great. And after that, let's lock it, so you don't select it by accident or something. And let's hide it. So now we are done with roof number one. Let's go back to roof number two and see what we can do. Roof number two is actually more exciting because you don't need to add those triangles that we did add at the beginning. So that is going to work just fine. So let's go to the shaded mode. By the way, I don't need this curve. Let's delete it. And yeah, there are some annoying curves in here from earlier, so we don't need them. Okay, and simply let's extract the mesh from this one, and the mesh added to change object layer. That's it. And simply select, let's hide the sub D and select the mesh itself, and let's go to here. And let's select the mesh and set one mesh, which is all of that. Okay, so this one is a little tricky because the corners, you can let's select something like this. I think that would be a good example. You want to create the roof, so the roof will work like this on this edge, which is the faces that doesn't have a corner like this. But when you create a tile for the corner, you need to create them like a 90 degrees tiles, so it will continue the flow for all of that for all of them, so it will continue back to this side. So we need two types for this, and also we need to figure out computationally how to separate both of these. We need to separate those types and those types. So this is what we need to do. So simply, the first thing that we need to do is there is a component in the mesh right here in the analysis called connected faces. Connected faces, when you connect this mesh to it, basically when you look at this, which is the connections, some of them are 2 and some of them are 3. Let's look at the top and let's see what we are talking about. Let's select this and isolate, and let's go to the top and see what we are doing. So if we selected one of the meshes from here, if we selected maybe this mesh, you can see that it has a connection. This is a connection, and this is a connection, and this is a connection as an edge. But if you goes to another one right here, if he goes to another one right here and simply select this, you can see that this mesh has a connection. This mesh right here has a connection in here and here, so it's 2, not 3. The next one, which is this one, has three connections, which are 1, 2, 3. So we need to separate them based on this information. So first of all, we need to explode it because currently it's one mesh. So we need to explode it. And after exploding it, we want to simply cull or maybe dispatch because I want to separate all of them. The pattern of the dispatch will be basically simple because I want to dispatch based on if this number is equal to 3, equal. If this number is equal to 3, if this number is equal to 3, separate it. So let's go to the meshes and see what we are selected. As you can see, exactly what I need. It selected only the ones with the 3, and in here it selected the corners. That is exactly what I need. So that is a interesting component, connected faces. And yeah, let's move forward. First of all, we want to deal with those. Those will be easy to deal with because you will basically copy this part exactly. We don't need to do, actually, let's copy it all. Let's select all of this, Control C, and copy it. Let's edit copy, edit best in center. Okay, and simply select all of those. And let's worry about this for later. Okay, let's see if the surfaces are perfect. They look perfect so far. Let's see what they look like in this. Okay, the shift is a little bit on a different direction, but that's not what worries me right now. Okay, let's create, before we move forward, let's show everything, and let's go to those on the perspective, zoom to them, maybe isolate, and let's create the mad type surface that we want to create. Okay, so let's first of all let's save and make sure to save this one as well. Okay, and let's go to the sub D. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and let's simply select those edges, add an edge in the middle, and add another edge in the middle. And after that, we want all of these to be creased, all of these points to be creased, and extract those so they will be separate. After that, we want to create an edge in the middle like this, and select the edge in the middle simply like that, and move it, but ignore the grid, but move it forward just enough like this, and move it, select the first one and move all of them up like this. So that is exactly what I need. I think in this case we don't need this one. Yes, that's exactly what I need. And after that, let's select those edge, those ring like this, and let's add an edge maybe in the middle, and select this one, the ring, add an edge in the middle, select this one to here, add an edge in the middle. Let's see what it looks like. It looks exactly what I need, but maybe the edges are too much, so let's slide them. Make sure the slide is proportional and slide them to the middle right here. Okay, and select all of them, like all the edges, and add crease so all of them are creased. Actually, I don't want to crease the ones right here, so let's ignore that. And after that, finally, let's select this face and this face and this face, extract it. And yeah, now we want to go to here, add to those an emission, and select those 1, 2, 3, 4, and match it with this. So let's see what they look like. So if you go to the rendered, you should have something like this, exactly what we need. Okay, so I have a problem that usually happens when you have a single face. First of all, let's select those and mirror to see what they look like, merged with each other. So if we selected this and said join, so this is what the roof will look like from both sides. So this is just to see what the roof will look like. And if I selected those and simply extracted the mesh and have seen the mesh, you can see that all these single faces, single sub-D faces, has transformed into these like too many subdivision mesh, which will be not a good thing to to deal with computationally. So there's a trick for that. You can simply select all these edges and extrude them a little bit, and after that you should have at least two faces on all of them, and simply extract the mesh. And once you extract the mesh, you can move it right here and delete all of these and all of these. So now you have a clean mesh and a clean sub-D. That's exactly what I need. After that, we can simply select those, make them as a group, maybe select those three, make them as a group. Okay, so that is perfect. Now all I need to do is select those meshes and set multiple meshes. And of course, I will need to change the box for them, but because they are multiple, we need to make them as a group right here. And once you make them as a group, the twisted box will work, but we need to make them to ungroup them later, before after the morphing. So ungroup, and it will work just fine. So now this is working. This is exactly what I need. So let's see what it looks like when you zoom toward it. It looks oriented to this side, which is not what I need. I want it to be oriented another side. So let's select this. Let's move it back to 0 and see, it looks fine. That is great because I want the light to be looking up. That's exactly what I need on this one. Is it working on all of them? No. So that's a problem. Because I want all of them to be exactly on the same side. So I need to sort those edges because I want to select the lower edge and the upper edge. So if we go to here, if we selected this curve and see what we are selecting, like in some areas, it's selecting the lower and the upper, which is exactly what I need, but on some of them it's selecting the opposite. So if I shifted this is working fine, but it needs to sort those edges. So let's sort them. I will sort them based on let's get the middle points, and let's get the z direction of it. So I will simply deconstruct, and I will sort them based on their height. So I will simply delete this one and list, I will say list item. So the first item for all of them is basically the lower edge, which is exactly what I need. And the last item, if I said -1, that means the last item is the upper. So I simply selected the lower and the upper. I will put this one to here and put this one to here, and let's see what our model looks like. It looks upside down, so we have two options. Either we flip those, or we can simply shift those to be 3 instead of 1, so both of them will work just fine. So that is exactly great. Let's So now this is working perfect, and this is working perfect. After that, we need to copy this, because now I created this only for the, let's say, the organic roof surface. I want to add the lights, so I will simply copy, Control C, Control V, and push it down just a little bit, and put the meshes of the light. So let's zoom and simply select the light meshes and set multiple meshes. So let's see what they look like so far. Let's zoom to them. So that is perfect. Now we need to figure out the corners, and that will be today's tutorial will be done. So sorry about that. So the corners, we simply have those now. Okay, so I want to deal with this. These are the meshes for the corners. So we want to make a twisted boxes that respects the points. We want to create a surface that respects the points. So for example, let's say that I have those. I want this to be the first point, and this to be the second, and this to be the third for this one, and this will be the last one. Okay, and for the next one, this will be the first, the second, the third, and this will be the fourth again. So we need to figure out how to do that. So basically, we want again to select this part. Let's Control C, Control V. I will extract the faces and sort the faces, sort the edges. But after sorting the edges, I want to list item. The first edge, which is this one, that is great. The second edge, which is this one, that is great. And simply join them, GOI. So once I join them, if I go to list item, and if I go to explode and list item the points, you can see that this is the first point, the second point, the third point. I can simply reverse them if I need to, but for now let's keep it the same orientation, or I can reverse. So this is okay. We need to remove duplicate points just in case, and if I said reverse, it should be this point. So this is the start and the middle and the end. Okay, after that I want to, or maybe for now let's keep it that way, because yesterday we didn't reverse. Anyway, let's select, let's now, we have the first point, the second point, the third point, and after that I want the fourth point. The fourth point is basically the point that is right here. Let's say list item, but in this case I want this to be reversed. So actually not. Maybe you should, yeah, we should, yeah, sort the points as well as we did yesterday. So let's sort the points that we have in here. And yeah, these are the points that we want to sort. Let's just put this one right here. Let's push all of this down just so we have more space. And let's sort them again, deconstruct the points and sort them based on the Z direction like this, and go to list item and reverse this because I want the higher point. Okay, not this point. I want those those points. Yes. So now we have our own 4 points, which is great. Now we want to create a surface. So I will say 4 point surface, which is this. This is the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. So now I have my 4 points. After that, I need to create or I need to repeat the same process, which is basically moving the surface up just like we did in here. So I will simply, actually let's copy all of these. Control C, Control V, and let's push it down just like in here. Put this one to here and put this one to here. And let's, yeah, that's it. Okay, so that is perfect, but now we need to figure out, as we mentioned before, we need to make this like a 90-degree thing. So we need to go back to the mesh that we created and let's zoom to it. And the final thing that needs to happen is basically creating, let's go to this one and negative, I don't know, like 10, another 5, actually negative 10. Yeah, perfect. So let's delete the meshes for now and let's see what we can do with the sub-D itself. Or actually let's keep the meshes just to split with them. So I want to create, let's create a line from this point to this point. And this line I want it to be extruded and I want this surface to be splitted by all of these edges, maybe not edges, let's split by these meshes. It doesn't understand. We need to transform those into NURBS. So if I set to NURBS, delete input, yes. Okay, so now they are NURBS. All I need to do now is split with those. So now I have this. I will simply move it 10 and delete all of this. All I need to do now is basically move these points to the intersection. So I will simply select this, move it to here. Unfortunately, we have to do it this way because we can't move them because it's not like a flat. Like I can't do it like this because if I do it like this, I still have to move those, so it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And finally, they are not like too much. Actually, let's do it this way. Okay, the last one, I think let's select this edge and Gumber relocate from here, from the last point, and ignore like this, and simply make it 0. So that is the last one. I will not cut it. It will basically look like this. So that is exactly what I need. And after that, I will simply mirror those in the back and on 45 degrees and select this point and push it back to where it should be belonging. Okay, after that I want to select all these and simply remove its crease just because I want them to be fluid and join all of these. Make sure to join them one by one. So now we have the corner piece that should work with everything else. After that, simply extract. Again, let's just select this and push it just like this, because this is a single face, so it will be annoying. After that, select all of that and extract the meshes and push it just right here, and select all these faces and all these faces and delete them. And now we have our own meshes. That is great. 1 2 3 4, Control G, and all of these Control G. And let's go back to here. Yes, that's it. Okay, so first of all, we need those are connected to the same box, so that is great, and those will be connected to the same box, which is, if I go to here and set one box, it should be 1 2 to here. That is great. And after that, select those meshes, set multiple meshes, and select the lights, and right here set multiple meshes. So let's see what they look like. If I go simply to zoom, they look great, but they need to be connected to the same mesh. So I will simply delete all of this. Okay, and I want this to be connected to the same one right here, so it will be just like that. And I want this to be connected to the same meshes right here, so the light also will work just fine. And now everything, the roof number 2 is perfectly fine. So let's bake this one on the roof number 2. Yes, and bake this one on roof number 2. Yes, okay. And after that, let's disable those. Maybe, trying to organize things a little bit, just like this. And this is group. So now it's the same one as this, and it's the same one as this, so I'll delete them. Now you have your whole model, so everything is fine. Let's Control G and move this back negative 1000. So if I set show, by the way, all of these small things, we need to put them on layer hidden and hide layer hidden actually. So, and roof number 2, let's lock it. So now if you go to here, you can go to the rendered, and you have the second roof is looking so, hopefully so smooth and looking nice. By the way, I added in the original design, where is it? Yeah, in this one, if I go to show and select it, maybe something like this, and zoom, I added more subdivisions in this part, but I think the more subdivisions made it like more sharper. So I'm not sure that it looks nicer, and as a final result. I think the smoother version is more interesting. So that's it for this series. If you want, if you are interested, to for if you are interested, we could have one more episode to visualize it, but maybe using D5 or something. So D5, I usually use D5 as my default visualizing software. So if you are interested, we could try that, or as a modeling it, everything is done. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for everything supporting via Patreon. I'm currently working on a big project, and I'm trying to I will try to document it and make a video about it. But it's not going to be live. I'm thinking about stopping all the live streams and make more recorded videos, so it will not be as long and as, doesn't have all the technical issues. So far, thank you so much. This file will be available on Patreon, and yeah, see you in the next one.